Earthquake in here.
Yeah, sure.
Some people in the Zoom room, people in here, so you're ready to start it whenever you want to. Pharoah is the best, and he always dresses the best also. So what more can you ask for?
Feel good, play good. Okay, all right, so let me get started. First, I'm glad that you guys all came here. I'm excited to be doing stuff like this again. At my last office, I used to do this all the time, especially door knocking. It's a big part of our team. But with COVID, we weren't able to really do that. And I felt like a lot of times with Zoom, we weren't getting the same effect. So I'm glad to be back and helping other agents get better. A lot of how I got better as an agent early on was coming in here, taking classes. I'm almost like a lifetime Keller Williams agent. I became an agent in 2003. I've been with Keller Williams since 2004. 3 different market centers I've gone in, from North Bergen, where that's kind of my market now. I've been the #1 agent in North Bergen for about 7 or 8 years. And then my office moved to Clifton. I didn't really do business there, but I held my license here. And now I live in Fort Lee, and I moved to the Fort Lee office just for convenience sake. And then also I felt that it was a better opportunity for my business, for the NoHu Property Group, which is the team that I have. So just a quick overview of kind of where I ended up being as someone that does a lot of door knocking is that I think it's good to have a mindset as you're running a business. A lot of people come in here and don't realize that they have a business, because real estate really gives you that opportunity to start a business with support. You've got staff here, you've got charge, you've got models, you've got a lot of things that kind of like help you out. You've got the crush to get you started. So that's the benefit of real estate, in my opinion, a lot of times, is that we're creating these businesses. You know, we're not getting salary, we're getting 1099s at the end of the year. And businesses with a lot of support. So sometimes you end up getting to that field that you kind of have a job and you're waiting for someone to tell you what's the next thing to do, or how to generate money, or how to separate yourself from other agents. And when you have a business, it really doesn't always work like that. You have support, but you have to know when to go for the support, how to go for it actively. But most importantly, you got to be ready to work a lot and work hard. And that's why I tell a lot of people it's hard to come in and just be a part-time agent right away. Being full-time agent is hard. Starting off as a real estate agent, working full-time, not easy. When you start doing the part-time elements, things like that, it gets more complicated. So you've really got to find ways that you can really apply yourself in an effective manner. You've got to work hours. You've got to work 40, 50, 60-hour weeks in order to build a big business. Not everybody does that, and there's still a lot of different ways to make money in real estate, where you can do different formats, work different hours, and make it work for you. And that's what's cool about real estate. Everybody has a different style, a different personality, and there's a million ways to make money. So that's always an opportunity, an awesome aspect of any career field. But most of them are going to require work and working smart and really understanding how to invest and profit loss your business, because we don't have a job. We don't just show up and try to collect commissions and figure it out. We really got to say, okay, this is who I am. This is the business that I want to run, and this is how I want to run it. And then that's when you're going to start seeing, oh wow, this is not so easy, but there's an opportunity to get better and get better and get bigger and get bigger. And you've got to find the different ways you're going to apply all your effort and all your time, because it's just not going to come to you. Your friends and family are not going to provide enough deals to have a business going. Even if your sphere of influence is very strong, which now mine is at that place because I'm on year 18. My sphere of influence is very powerful. But even if you have a powerful sphere of influence, if you're waiting for them to give you deals, you're not going to generate the amount of deals you need. You need a lot of deals in real estate in order to be successful, because real estate is very volatile. The deals are volatile. And if you're running a business that's not high volume, not doing a lot of transactions, you're banking on every single deal and every single deal to close. And what the first thing you're going to learn is not every single deal is going to close. And a lot of times deals are going to feel like they're not going to close, but they're going to end up closing. And then you're going to be caught up in that, oh my God, this deal is going to fall apart. I've been banking on it. That's normal, and it's happened to me, it's happened to everybody, but the goal is to build a business where you can get as far separated from that as possible. And by doing that, you're gonna have to make money with strangers. You're gonna have to find people that you don't know at all and get them into a house or help them sell their home. And that's where the real profit is. Your friends and family, your sphere, sometimes people get in, oh, I got a lot of friends, and I'm gonna be able to start getting their deals. And yes, that's gonna happen probably. But let's say if you have a strong sphere of influence, you may get 10 deals just because you are who you are and they call you. 10 deals is great. 10 deals is not enough to run a business. It's not enough to be financially secure. It's not enough to really get the business going where you can continue saying that this is my full-time gig. You're gonna start going, wow, those 10 deals, I got them for nothing. My phone rang, I picked up, hey, I'm Pharoah. Hey, I want to list the house. Great, no listing presentation, nothing, no resume, deal, sign it up. I still get them to this day. My phone will generate X amount of deals every year just because I've been in the business as long, I know this many people, they all know my phone number. There's 10 deals. 10 deals is not enough. And when are the 10 deals gonna come? We have no idea. They're not gonna come every month like your bills and like your expenses come every month. They're gonna come whenever they wanna come, and they're gonna close whenever they wanna close, because it's very hard for us to do that. So the first thing I try to do is, how can I make money from strangers? And how can I be high leverage? And how can it not be very expensive? So in Keller Williams, a very big thing of Keller Williams is prospecting. Almost every agent that comes to Keller Williams will be approached to do training and to do classes, prospecting. And prospecting is a huge part of the business because it's lead generation, and without lead generation, we have nothing. Your average store, they open up, they spend all this money to renovate the store and get it going. They're selling bagels and they're doing their bagel shop, and they spent $100,000 to renovate the bagel shop. They're investing in equipment, they're buying all these things, but they need clientele. They need people, they need bodies, they need lead generation, but for them, it's gonna be called something else, and if you look at something else, but they have a business, and they've got to get people in to buy the products or the business closes. The lease starts climbing up on you, you're 3 months back on your lease, the equipment, you're paying salaries every Friday, and it goes bust because we don't have enough people coming in. We got to get people coming in. And we have to try, especially as young agents, more than anything, this is a good way for them to get involved because you don't have a big business yet. So you don't have the income usually to start investing heavily in the other ways to get leads, which are not as high leverage, but they're still leads nonetheless. For example, I pay probably roughly about $50,000 to $60,000 a year in Zillow. I hate Zillow. I'm sleeping with the enemy, but you got to keep your enemies close. So I know for sure I've trained every agent that's on my team and myself to close at a high rate. So when we get these Zillow leads, we're paying a lot for them and we're closing them, and we're closing them at a pretty good rate, although otherwise it doesn't make any sense at all to spend that much money. But it's I spent this much and I got this, and you're like, okay, it's something, but it's just one way we're getting leads, one way we're getting clients. And if it's your only way, you're in a tight spot. Now, some people structure their business to do only these type of deals, and that's fine. But your average agent is not gonna be able to come in and say, I'm gonna structure my business that I'm gonna just spend $150,000 a year on leads, and then we're just gonna close them. That's why sometimes you will see agents, teams throwing up big numbers sometimes. I did this and I did that, and we did 100 units at 100 million. But not what everybody talks about is how much did it cost? What's the expenses? How much is it gonna cost me to get there? And then when you do the numbers and you do the accounting, you see the net number, you'll be surprised how small the net number is sometimes. And sometimes people don't want a small net number. If they're high leverage, they're not doing much, they've got systems in place. They're like, look, this is free money. I didn't work for it. I set up the systems. Everybody's running autonomously. If I make a small piece of a big number, I'm happy. And that's fine too. Not the easiest way to start off from day one as a young agent. And when I say young, a young agent to me is still like 5 years and under. Like 6 months, okay, that's new. But it takes, I'm in this business 18 years. I'm still learning new things every day. Year 5 is when you're like, okay, I've got some people even that I've sold houses to now calling me to sell their houses again. Oh, wow, that's new. That's new for a 5-year agent. They're not normally getting that. They're saying, wow, my phone just rang, I picked up, hey, remember you sold me this house? I want to put it on the market. Awesome. Doesn't happen for a new agent usually because you haven't sold them that house to get that call. So by year 5, I try to tell people, year 5, you're still a young agent. After year 5, you have a business that may give you X amount of deals every year. Next year, year 6, your phone's ringing, you're getting maybe 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 deals from someone you've worked with or known or heard about you in the last 5 years. And that's great. That's a great stage to be in. A lot of people stay in that stage. Either they get lazy or they're just, this is what they want. They want to make about this and be here, and that's fine. If you can make the year 5 in real estate and you're still doing it, you're a 6-figure agent, period. A lot of agents bail on the year, 6 months, year, or prior, because it's very difficult to generate income and pay bills and things like that while building a business. So not everybody's in a position to do that, so a lot of people fail right there. Or a lot of people just say, hey, this isn't for me. But by year 5, your phone's ringing, people calling you. Now you've got this amount of deals, good. You got a base. A base is a good place to be at, because now you got to start finding out, how am I going to get business from this channel, this channel, this channel, this channel. Add that with my base. My base can hopefully cover, my business expense, my living expenses, or get me close, get me that first step, and then I'll be good from there. And you can really grow a big business from there. But it's going to take time, it's going to take effort, it's going to take years. It's a long-term business. And what's cool about it is you can do it forever. It's not like one of these businesses where, oh, I'm getting too old, my back's a little sore, I can't do this anymore. No, you should by the time you're at that stage, should have built a business where maybe you're only dealing with 2 or 3 people anyways. And you could still do these deals all the way forever. A lot of studies say sometimes your prime of your career is in your 40s and 50s. And you can't always say that for every industry. But in this industry, they're telling you your 40s and 50s, by all the data is collected, it's usually your prime years. I just became 40 this year. If you're telling me my next 20 years, my prime years, I'm excited. Maybe I can retire early, but maybe I won't want to, because I really love real estate. I think I could do it forever. So, I guess that's a benefit in this business, is really being passionate about it, liking it. So why I started door knocking. Door knocking for me, high leverage. Door knocking almost costs usually nothing. For my personality, it was also a good match. I think that I do very well face-to-face, eye-to-eye. So for me, it's probably the cheapest, easiest way to get in front of homeowners. Getting in front of homeowners is very expensive usually if you want to do it the other way, where you're paying a large sum, which I do hire some services that give me listing leads. They're more expensive than buyer leads, because listings are where everyone is trying to get to, and they sound great, but they're a lot of work too. They're very competitive. Working with buyers can be competitive too, but working with sellers is very competitive, because you're going up against agents like me who are only looking for sellers. Buyers are going to come with sales. Buyers are going to come with listing. I don't actively chase buyers that often, and when I do, it's only because I'm paying for services to bring them in, and then our team very highly calibrated to close. If you get 7 leads, we need X amount of deals on it. But listings are more complicated, more expensive, and more attractive for an agent. So door knocking gets you in front of sellers on a regular basis, as long as you're doing it. If you're doing it often, you're in front of sellers all the time. And it's very important to get in front of sellers, because you need to build something. So you're either door knocking to build something kind of like farming. You're trying to build a base somewhere, maybe where you live, maybe where you want to start working at, maybe where your office is, maybe where you have some type of sphere at, and you want to build that area up, kind of want to farm it. Or you're door knocking to sell something, which I don't always door knock to sell. A lot of times, most of the time, I'm door knocking for informational purpose. For me to gather info, but more importantly, to give value and give info to other people. So if you're in my farm, my system, my areas that I door knock, you've probably seen me already in the last 18 years, maybe 30 times, maybe sometimes more, because I'm door knocking for informational purpose. So I'm coming to someone, knocking on their door, and I'm saying, hey, I'm not trying to sell anything. It's usually the first line I say every time, because now you're disarming them. Because the truth is, you're not trying to sell them anything. You really want to get in a position to sell something for them. That's really what we're doing. So, hey, hello, just first thing first, I'm not trying to sell you anything. Sometimes you get a laugh, sometimes you get whatever, but you want to disarm them, because most of the time I'm not trying to sell anything. Most of the time I'm trying to give them some information, some knowledge. Everything about my business is value-based. I bring value by being able to give you my 18 years of experience, whether it's with my team, or I'm able to give you my experience in order to sell or to get the highest price. And sometimes I have to prove that I can get the highest prices or things of that nature. So when I door knock, I want to make sure I'm able to get it. I want to work it over here. Okay. So if you can see on the screen there. So right there, I have North Bergen's #1 real estate team, which I've done the math and the numbers myself at the end of every year. I pull them from the MLS so that I can continue to say it as a fact and it can be backed up. You'll see some people say the #1 team, and sometimes #1 is an opinion, right? It's not based on numbers. It could be like, I'm #1 because I think I'm #1. All right, deal. You go with that too. Just not North Bergen. I'm going to come for you. Then I put how much sales volume I had in 2020 just in North Bergen. You see there, 18 million. I put some pictures of some houses that we have sold. Danny was door knocking these cards. That's why I got his business card. Staples, so this is something that came straight from his door knocking. There's all my info. And on the other side, I have some of the sales that have broken records. Now this is a little dated. We broke up 2 other records since then, so they'll be added to the next one. But these are all the highest sales for their category in the town, in the history of the town. So that's something a lot of times catches people's attention, and I'm not selling them anything. I'm giving them value. So what I want to do is I want to have a conversation with them. And I'm trained from years of experience, whether taking classes like this or paying for education. I'm trained to ask great questions, and all the answers they give me, I'm processing them right away. And then I'm asking the next question, the next question, the next question. That's why you hear people talking about scripting and internalizing scripts. My casual conversation is not usually that casual. I'm already trained, I already have it. I'm already timing, tonality. We're actors, we're whoever we are that day. I'm matching tonality, I'm matching energy. If someone's really quiet, withdrawn, I'm taking 2 steps back, I'm talking to them slower and quieter. You've got to be able to read your audience, because it's very important to make a connection, because a connection is where we make the money. We make the money in trust and connection. So you make a connection with a seller and you give them something where they feel they're tied to you, and maybe they can trust you, or maybe you give you an opportunity to earn their trust. That's your best shot to eventually, for them to call you one day and say, come and list my house, because that's what we're chasing. I don't want to do listing presentations. I do not want to compete against other agents. I want something cooked, ready, and to show up my night before done, because I put it all the time early. I made the rapport. I've seen them at the grocery store, at the restaurant. Hey, it's Pharoah. Maybe a quick conversation I've had with them about real estate. I've door knocked them with this one, my informational, okay, which is the one we usually put out because it gets the best response, because people are very nosy. They want to know what their neighbors are buying and selling. They want to know what their house is worth. So we got to capitalize on the curiosity. And that's usually what we're doing when we're door knocking. We're trying to build rapport, capitalize on their curiosity, make a connection to a point where we can say, hey, I already know their names. I pulled tax records. I'm ready. Like, I'm addressing people first name or last name basis. Now I actually know them. So it's like, hey, Pharoah, you've been doing it 18 months. Like, how's the kids? How's this? So now it's like, when they're ready to sell, they're selling with me. And I'm not competing against another agent. They're just telling me, hey, tell me who's the boss.
So you do your homework prior to.
Always. Sometimes more than less. It's not every time that I'm doing deep homework, because now I'm layered and I'm so deep into it now, the homework's done from. But initially, I had to do homework, because you need to be able to have real, valuable conversations. Value is the most important thing with people. So when they ask you questions, you need to have good answers ready. What are houses selling for? What is that? So you're door knocking a house. So I normally come up, I door knock it, and then I'm a big guy, so I recognize that. So I need to take a step back. Sometimes there's stairs, I'll take 2 stairs back. So when they open the door, I'm below them, I'm on an eye. I'm not a threat. I'm not trying to sell anything, because that's the first thing I tell them. And it's the truth, usually. And I'm just saying, hey, I'm not trying to sell anything. Here's some information on the neighborhood. Or here's a house that I just put on the market. We're doing the open house in about 2 hours. We door knock prior to open houses. And if you want to come by, or you know a friend or family looking to buy or sell in this area, you may want to come by. If you just want to see what things are selling for in your neighborhood, you may want to come by. And I get a lot of sellers coming to my open houses, and then I'm trying to close them, because when they come to my open house, they said, I'm interested in the value of my home. That's what it says. They usually don't care about the house. They're not going to move a block away. Okay. And it's very rare they have a friend or that wants to move into their neighborhood and buy the house. It can happen, rare. When they're coming there, they're either very nosy, which is like 5 out of 10, right? Neighbors are nosy. They want to know who's at your party, what's going on, how does your house look like inside? You always wondered. Okay, so those 5 out of 10 people, I'm still working them, because out of those 5 out of 10, I'm trying to get a listing out of one of them. But the other 5 that come, and I'm not saying you're going to get 10 sellers at an open house. I'm using some numbers that are easy to work with, because 10 sellers at open house is like the best open house you ever had. It's not impossible. But they also want to know, okay, if this house was this and my house is that, and why do they want to know it? I want to know. It could be for no reason, but I'm trained to ask the questions to find out why they want to know. Well, what brings you here? And just be quiet, wait for an answer. Sometimes they're going to tell you everything you need to know. Well, I'm going to retire in 6 months, so I want to get an idea, kind of get a plan, because when I sell, I'm going to move to Florida and I'm going to sell. So me, I already know their name. If I don't know their name, I remember their house. I'm going to go pull their tax records. I'm going to go get their name. Usually this is all done already. And this is how detailed it has to be to get to some of these layers, to get to some of these steps, to be a listing agent. Like my team, for instance, is on track for hopefully about 100 transactions this year, 5 agents. All the agents are 2 years or younger. So we're trying to do volume. We're trying to do big business. So big business requires being very sharp, very detailed, doing a lot of homework, so that when you're doing your job, it feels effortless and everything looks easy. But in reality, I'm scripting these people. I'm asking them, well, why are you moving? Okay, moving in 6 months. Okay, no, 6 months. So what do we have to do? We're going to have to do some type of a campaign, some type of a follow-up system for these next 6 months, that we don't lose them to somebody else. So now I get to add someone happily into my database, onto one of our lists from one of our meetings, as someone we need to stay in contact with, because they already said, raised their hand, said, I want to sell, but it's going to be in 6 months. That's fine. Your average Zillow lead, by all data given now, is 6 months to a year anyways. So you're going to get some people that make offers with you right away, but on average, a Zillow lead is just, hey, what's going on? You want to sell? Yeah, I want to buy. Okay, they go see 2 houses. You know what? We're not ready yet. We're going to think about it. We'll be ready in like 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, etc. So now my door knocking, just for my something I've already sold, it's a turn into a couple door knocks. They shouldn't feel annoying, because usually you're giving them more information that's valuable. If you're constantly trying to sell something, get off my block, stop soliciting me, etc. When you're saying, hey, look, I have an open house, come or don't come. Do you want the flyer? You want to talk about it? Yes, no, okay, bye. When it sells, coming back, hey, we just sold the house. We have multiple offers, which really is the case in today's market. And we have multiple offers. So we have people that didn't get the house, maybe want a house. So I'm just letting you know that there's more buyers and homes in this neighborhood. We sold this for over ask. We sold this in this amount of days. Here's the information. If you don't want it, I'll take it with me. If it's going to go in the garbage, but if you want it, you take it. If they take it, hey, okay, look, that's going to resonate. That's going to sit. They're going to have this maybe sitting around their dining table for a while, which will keep us at the top of their head. And then if you're really farming a system, you're involved in the community sometimes. You're there all the time. So now you start seeing people at the restaurants, the stores, you door knock, you go, hey, how's the house? Did you do that work to the backyard? How's the kids? And then you start becoming like a cornerstone of the neighborhood, the community. So why I'm able to be dominant is that I'm very entrenched in the community. So it's going to be easy for me to get layups, easy money, easy deals, because I've door knocked them for so long that I've become a pillar of the community. I'm involved, I'm giving back. And then also it's going to be very, very hard to get rid of me, and very, very hard to take my spot. Because one, I'm working it every day consciously, making sure it doesn't happen. But two, I can almost do nothing and still have something, because I've built sweat equity. So now I'm someone that they just see me and they go, I want to sell my house. I'm going to call Pharoah and sell everybody's house. And then on Zillow, they're going to go to Zillow. Everybody's on Zillow. And they're going to say, I sold it, this one, this one, this one, this one. So now I built it, but it didn't start that way. And it's very important to understand that you don't have to be an agent who's very powerful, who's done a lot of deals to have successful door knocking. That's the cool part, and that's a part that I think should be the biggest message here. You can go door knock tomorrow with your business card. I wouldn't suggest it. It's not exciting enough. It's kind of like, okay, whatever. I would say, I want to door knock this neighborhood. I want to become someone in this community. I want to start selling houses here. All right, so what's the first step? I need to know what's going on in the town. I need to know if I'm door knocking on a house on the street and they ask me what the house behind me sold for, and I don't even know, I've already made myself not that valuable and not able to validate what I'm telling you. Because if I'm door knocking you on this block, I didn't even realize this house sold last month, I don't know the price, I'm kind of like not on point with the neighborhood or what I should be doing. Or you're gonna say, he doesn't really know much going on. Me, at this point in my career, I'll say, oh, that's John's house. Yeah, John sold it. He had to go somewhere else. We got a little bit over ass buyer from here. It was a great house, honestly, a great opportunity. That's like, whoa, that's powerful. But I didn't start like that. What I started with is, yes, I saw the house sold. It sold for like $620. I was actually in it or I wasn't in it. And I've got some information on it. And I'm like, hey, look, these type of houses are normally selling in this amount of time at this price. And I'm giving them some good information for the neighborhood because I want to own this neighborhood. I got to do the homework. You can't just door knock without having any value or any homework. So if you're door knocking without giving value, then you're not going to get the same results. If you're door knocking saying, I've never sold anything in this neighborhood, but I did my homework. I know what these houses are selling for. And coincidentally, in my office, someone sold like 7 or 8 houses in this neighborhood. I'm going to lean on their experience. That's what coming to a certain office gives you. A lot of times you should be picking your office based on, am I going to be around a lot of agents that are doing a lot of business to motivate me or to watch? Or are they doing a lot of business in the markets that I'm trying to do? Or is it convenient for me for where the location is? These should be factors when you're picking your office. So when you're in a market, you've never sold in, you can door knock successfully very easily. You do your homework, you can lean on deals that are done in-house so that you can say more of that, and less saying they sold it and they did it, we, because we are a we. If you come to North Bergen, and I prefer if you don't come to North Bergen door knocking. But if you do, technically, I can't hold you back from leaning on all my sales because we are in the same office. So when you say we are selling the most houses in North Bergen, you're not lying. And that's the key, is not to show up to people's house and lie to them. So you're telling the truth, not the whole truth, but the truth. And when you start building this rapport, you got to understand, you're running a business, you're not a job. We're not counting the hours, we're not counting the time or the gas took me to get there. I tell my team all the time, I don't want to hear any, I don't even care. Just get there, do your job, figure it out. That's on you. This is your business. We're partners, you don't work for me. And no one cares how much it costs me to do what I do, and except for me. And that's how it should be for every agent here. So when you're door knocking, you can't say you're door knocking that day because and we say it's a disappointment if you don't get a listing. The chances of getting a listing door knocking are very slim. I've maybe in my career got like 5 listings, maybe 5, maybe more, maybe closer to 10 listings in 18 years. From door knocking that house, and they're like, all right, cool, you know what? You came at the right time, let's sell it right now. I've had it happen probably less than 10, maybe around 5. So really what I'm trying to do is, can I make a connection and can I get someone added to my database or into my list of people that I gotta stay in contact with? Because that's a win. If you can door knock for 2 hours, you could probably hit, depending on your neighborhood, you could probably hit X amount of houses. Let's say you door knock for 2 hours and you hit 50 houses. Out of those 50, you need to be able to walk away saying, look, I made at least like 5 connections, because connections are valuable. Because you're gonna have to go door knock these people again. It's not gonna be a one-time show and go. It's something that should be in your business, because lead generation and prospecting has to be such a big part of your business. Like if you're not lead generating and prospecting, how do you even get to 40 hours of work? Like it's impossible. And like 40 hours, like bare minimum for a full-time employee anywhere. So like, it's not easy to get to 40 hours of real estate work. Like there's good agents, they're making good money, they're still not working 40 hours. Let's put it that way. So when you're a young agent, you need to put in the time. You really got to find ways to get to your 40 hours. You get to your 40 hours. I took a class about your 48 hours, your 40 hours. So that's why I talk like that. Is I've gotten education on different ways. It's like, if you're working 40 hours in real estate, you're gonna, even if you're not a very good agent, you're gonna make money. 40 hours of real estate is hard to get to because you got your showings, you set up showings, and then like, what else did you do? Because if you're not at listing appointments, if you're not lead generating, a lot of prospecting, I don't know how you fit in the rest of those like 30 hours. It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard to do 40 hours without lead generation and prospecting. So if you put that door knocking into your schedule, 2 hours, 4 hours a week at least, bare minimum, it's gonna bear fruit over time, just like everything else in this business. If you do it consistently for long enough, it's gonna bear fruit because you're gonna get better. You're gonna start tweaking it. You're gonna start having more validation when you show up. Like, hey, when you get that first door knock and you convert it into a listing and you sell that listing, there's a different energy and level of confidence you do your business in. And the key is to be able to work diligently, consistently, without getting the validation, because it's not gonna happen right away. But once you get it, you're like, wow, I'm gonna go door knock in 3 days this week because I got that deal. And some of the agents on our team have been able to do it, even young in their career. And they're like, wow, I have a different energy to go door knocking now. It's like I can really convert, like I can really like make money doing this. And it's like, I don't have to pay $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 a month to generate these leads. I can just say, hey, look, I'm gonna go door knock today from 4 to 6.
Sorry.
No, I'm glad you asked questions. Talking to me all day, listening to my voice all day.
Yeah, what about permits?
Okay, great question. So she's asking about permits, and the permit she's asking about is a solicitation license. Okay, so the truth is, I door knock in some towns without a solicitation license regularly for over a decade, almost 2 decades now. Never had a problem. But I've door knocked in some towns for a day. Had the police come say, hey, you got a solicitation license? You can't do it without it. I'll give you a perfect example. Fairview, New Jersey, which is about 3 towns south of me. Door knocking one day as a team not too long ago. And I normally don't door knock Fairview, but we started. And the first day we door knocked, about an hour in, 2 police officers come up. We got a call from the town. You don't have a solicitation license. You have to cease and desist. You have to leave right away. You can't door knock any more houses. So I was like, okay. I've never had that happen to me in my career. And again, door knocking towns where I have not had solicitation licenses. But what I did is I went and got my solicitation license. It's not that complicated. I think it's like a $50 fee I paid to do a background check. And 9 out of 10 times they're going to give it to you. Now, you're still not going to be able to knock on houses and say no solicitation if they have it advertised. But if that's something that gets in your way, easy fix. Me personally, I know as a fact that 90 to 99% of the people that door knocked at my house in my lifetime do not have solicitation licenses. Almost the only people I've learned that do have solicitation licenses are usually people that are door knocking for political purpose, because that's how these guys fight against each other. Oh, he's door knocking he's running for a commissioner and he doesn't have a solicitation license. He can't do that. You'll see some of that. So there's a way to counteract that. And most towns are going to give you your solicitation license for very little paperwork, very little overall cost. And I think that you can fix that. Now, I'm not saying for you guys to go and door knock without solicitation licenses. I'm just saying that I have for about 18 years and I've never had a violation. So I hope that somewhat answers it. But to do it by the book is very easy. I just haven't gone through the process because by the time I learned that we had to get them, I was years in going, I don't know, I'm going to roll these dice. But everyone runs their business differently. So you have to be aware, and that's a great question. So, shoot.
Some towns reporting to the commission.
What?
Some towns reporting to the commission.
I guess technically anyone can report you to the commission. I don't know how that would work. I don't have an answer for that. Can they report you to the commission? You know what they could do? I could see a competing agent doing it. Someone that's not happy that you're door knocking their client or their person. I could see that happening potentially. Yeah, I think it could.
There are questions in the chat.
Oh, yeah.
Someone asked, well, Jana asked, where do you get the info from MLS, but that was like 10 minutes ago. So I'm not sure what she referred to, unless she's.
So maybe she's talking about how I physically verified that we're the #1 team in the last 7 years. So at the end of every year, I print out all the sales for the towns that we're competing in. And I break them down category by category, and I do my homework. There's a lot of work in this business, a lot of money, lots of money, lots of unlimited, it's billions and billions of dollars made in real estate. Lots of work too, lots of work. And then the goal is to turn that work into working it smarter and smarter and smarter, so that you can start leveraging all your skills and all your everything. And that's for another class for another day. But what's cool about door knocking is the day one thing you can do. You guys can all go out and door knock tomorrow. You can make a quick flyer of a neighborhood, of a house that just sold in it. It wasn't even your house, not even from our office, and say, hey, by the way, do you know this house just sold? And there's a chance tomorrow you could do it. And someone says, they got this for this house? How much you think my house is? And guess what? Tomorrow you're doing a CMA. You're setting a CMA appointment. And then on that CMA appointment, you're spending the next 2 days getting ready. And now you're in a listing presentation. CMAs are not CMAs usually. For me, a CMA, a lot of times the listing presentation without too much pressure. I'm not trying to be very salesy. I try to be an advisor. I'm an expert. I'm very valuable. I need top commission because I have high value, have high expertise, high experience, and you've got to pay for it. And it's gonna, in return, give you a smooth transaction with a top dollar sales price. And I can say that as a fact because I can prove it as a fact. I have too many records in that particular market to not be able to say that. But you can go tomorrow, door knock a neighborhood, get a CMA, and then be ready to do a CMA or pretty much a listing presentation 2 to 3 days from today. And you could have gotten your license yesterday. It's that real. It's that serious.
When all that sales, as a new sales agent, you suggest that we start in our own neighborhood.
I think anywhere where you feel you have a niche should be there to start right away. So own neighborhood is for me. I'm from North Bergen. I grew up in North Bergen. That used to be my neighborhood. I've grown up there. That was the easiest to do because a lot of times I end up knocking people I already know. And then that's like a win. That's like a home run. That's like another layup. But maybe sometimes you don't want to, you live here, but you don't want to work that market. You want to work a different market. And then you can do the same thing there. You don't have to have a niche there, but anytime you have one, anytime you already have something where you have a foothold into a neighborhood or a market, or really you would rather call it, you got to take advantage of that. You know, sometimes people build huge businesses just from raising their kids in a town and being that person that's willing to go out and reach out to people saying, you know, I was there for soccer, softball, all these things. You're raising kids 20 years. In 20 years of connections, you got to be able to leverage that. And you don't even have to door knock to do that. But imagine if you're door knocking in a neighborhood where you're already in, your kid is already in a soccer class with like 50 other kids. So when you go door knock, I mean, there's a very good chance you're going to run into a couple soccer moms and dads, right? So, I mean, anytime you can find easy money, you better go get it because this business has a lot of difficult, hard money to get. But there's a lot of easy money there if you do the work. And if you can find easy money, if you can find warm leads, if you can get in front of a seller, make eye contact with him, have a 2 to 3, 4, 5 minute conversation, and maybe you already knew him, or now you're talking to them on the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 10th door knock, very valuable information. Because now sometimes you can go to the next level where I'm getting a little ahead of myself, but the next level is going, okay, hey, we door knocked them. They seem like they're ready. You know what? We have like 10 buyers for this price range because the inventory is so difficult right now. Let's call them up and say, hey, look, you know what? If you're interested, no commitment. I don't even want a listing agreement. If I bring these people here in this window tomorrow, 10 people, and I can get you some offers, would you be willing to sell? And that's another conversation that I have scripted, internalized, and I'm ready to have with anybody at any moment. And then at that point, you may get someone to say, you know what? No paperwork, no listing, nothing. Look, we're going to put some paperwork together. If we get a deal, if we don't have a deal, I'm not asking you to put it on the market. You're probably not ready. But I'm telling you, the market's ready for you. So if you're thinking about it, let's do it. And we get them over there, and everybody likes the house. I'm like, here's 3 offers. We haven't listed it, we haven't prepped it, haven't spent $1 on it. Here's 3 offers. Do you want to take one of them? You know what? Let me think about it. You know what? I'm ready to sell. All right, cool. What's your commission? 5%. Done. Double end. 2 deals. 2 sides, it's 2 deals. It's happened. Danny can tell you it's physically happened. We're working on a few right now. Danny has a couple really good. If you're looking for something, Danny's got a few things he's cooking right now. They're going to be ready, and they may never hit the market. A lot of my transactions don't make it to the MLS because I don't need the MLS. Why would I spend all the money if I don't have to? Sometimes you'll see, if you go pull up my name on the MLS, you'll see that I have stuff that just says for info purpose only because I want the comp in the market. We just put a $980,000 3-family sale in the MLS last month just for info purpose only for free because we had it off market, we door knocked it, we worked it, we turned that little off market door knock to a rental. We turned that rental for $2,000 in there renting it for them into a sale for $980, both sides. That's a big check. It's a big check.
How does that work? So you just put something on the MLS for information only?
Yeah, so sometimes I call the MLS and say, hey, I just want to put this listing. I sold it off market, but I want it on there for comps for myself or for other agents down the road. Because when you make a good sale, you want it to be out there. So the next time you make a good sale, you can justify it with an appraisal. This is advanced. Yeah, this is very advanced. We're here. We're running a real business. We are not just agents hanging out. We're setting we're putting stuff on the MLS to help other agents to eventually come back and help us. Like that's powerful. That's forward thinking. That's like layers, levels ahead. Like I don't even care if that comp helps you sell your house. I just want the market to continue to grow. And then also when it hits there, it ends up going to Zillow, showing as a sale, things like that, which is also cool because unfortunately people still value these Zillow reviews and all these Zillow sales, which I don't even put them in myself. They don't automatically load it, I don't even put it. I've designed my business that I don't care about Zillow. I use them and abuse them accordingly, just like they do to me. And they don't care about me, I don't care about them. I use them till they're good, and when they're done, I'll throw them in the garbage, just like they're gonna do with us. Honestly, just digest that. That's what Zillow's gonna do with us. So I think that's another way where you're saying, okay, wow, there's another way to do business. There's a whole other way to do business. And door knocking can really unlock that. Because to get in front of listing sellers via phone, paying a service, very expensive. We're paying for it now, and it's not cheap right there. It's expensive. And we haven't, I got some services I haven't even got a listing from yet. And I'm probably like $3,000 to $4,000 in the hole. But I don't look at my business like that because I'm running a business. So when a guy has a bagel shop, and he's like, you know what, I want to get the new machine that does bagels like this and like that, and they come out a little toastier. He's doing that to invest in his business. He can't expect someone to come the next day and pay a new price for the bagel. We got to invest. When we make money, we need to put some on the side and put it back. And I know it sounds crazy as a young agent, like, man, I'm just trying to make money. You're already talking about, I got to make the money, do my split with my broker, pay taxes, and then put money on the side. Like, wow, you're like crazy. But I'm like, hey, if you're not doing it at some point, you're going to be working somewhere else soon. I'm just telling you what's got to happen. Whether you decide to do it or not, that's on you. There's no other way. There's no secret plan. There's no like, oh, I did it this way, it worked. If you're not reinvesting into your business is just going to stagnate. It's going to be here. Some people are very happy here. There's people making $100,000 a year in real estate that aren't even very good and don't prospect or lead generate. They just hung on by a rope for long enough and they're good. And that's kind of cool too. To make 6 figures in your sweats, just waiting for your phone to ring every day. I know at least, I've been here 18 years. I know at least 3 or 4 agents doing that and they're happy. Me, I wouldn't be happy. If you're happy with doing that, find a way to hang on for 5 years. I swear to you, you hang on for 5 years. Market goes up or down, doesn't matter. You hang on for 5 years and you start getting your phone ringing, you could probably cruise control another 15, 20, making 100,000 a year. And no one's going to say anything different to you. And it doesn't make you a bad guy. Just not how I do my business. One more question.
According to your experience, what's the fastest or best way to found listings?
Door knocking is the fastest way. I'm teaching a class on it. because it's the basis of our business and our team. I don't even think other people are door knocking in our neighborhood. We've caught a couple people once here or there. They do it like once a year and think it's gonna work. So I'm like, cool, let them put their little door knockers on and skedaddle. We're building relationships. It happens every time. Like I see these same guys in my neighborhood with these door knockers once every 6 months. No listing. I'm like, no listing. What?
What's optimal door knock every quarter or?
I love these. That's a great question because I want to get to that part. So door knocking to me, I want to at least hit a place every quarter. And I think that's a great way to look at it. But sometimes I got to hit it more because I've got more value. I've got more exciting things to talk about. So I can actually go up to someone 3-4 times in one quarter and not be annoying. It's like, hey, hey, don't get mad at me. I just keep getting these listings. I keep selling them. I keep telling you, and you said that you like to hear this, so I'm giving it to you. And if you don't like to hear it, I'm still going to give it to you. And if you don't want it, I'll take it and I'll go. Okay? I don't do mailers. My team is dying for me to start doing mailers. I did it, and I just hate mailers. I think that they probably go really good in tandem with door knocking, honestly. But I'm a little bit stubborn, and I've got my weaknesses and strengths as well. And being very stubborn is one of my weaknesses. So I don't want to do mailers. I've thrown so many away. I've never done business from a mailer in my entire life. I've never done business from a billboard in my entire life. You'll never see me on a billboard, ever. You can quote that. I'm not mad at guys on billboards. I've had vendors offer me funds to put me on a billboard. I don't care about billboards. In fact, I'm looking to be more and more discreet about me and access to me. I want it to be more and more limited as I go up through the ranks to a point where you don't even know I'm around. It's just NoHu Property Group. Everyone's doing good. You can't slander me anymore. You can't be mad at me because I did business like this. It's just this machine that's running. I'm very low key. I'm gonna enjoy my family, my friends, and my time, and that's my goal. And Keller Williams is all about making a life worth living for, a life by design. That's my design. What was your name again?
Nina,
Nina.
so my question is, you have a very successful career, obviously, as a door knocking. And if you recommend us new agents to start going door knocking, how could we penetrate to a market where guys like you already dominate?
Wow, that's a good question. I'm making it to a point where you can. Me personally.
So
that's a good question. That's a good
Here
question.
we go.
That's a good question. Right? Don't go there because we're watching. Danny will be like, hey, I saw this. Danny sent me one this morning. I swear to God. He sent it to me. I was like, I swear to God, we're gonna go there next week. This guy better not think. He better not try. But that's the energy that's needed to maintain this spot. It's not given. The rent's due every day. The rent, and I can't slack because there's people who want slots in certain towns because there's a lot of money there. But let me finish your question. So I've got sometimes where I'm door knocking more in a quarter because I've got more relevant information, okay? But most importantly, I do would like to hit them each quarter, and every week we meet and we say, got to door knock this neighborhood soon. We've slacked on it. But also times to door knock, I haven't figured out the masterful time, but what I have figured out is if you do it at all different times, you get a chance to catch somebody who's never available at that time. And sometimes I'll say, look, let's door knock like 12 to 2 today. Why don't I door knock 12 to 2? Nobody's home. That one guy is home at that one house. You know, we can watch it. Might be there. And we got to get it because someone else is going to get it. It stings me when certain properties, look, there's too many properties for me to think that I'm going to get all the listings. But there's certain houses that if someone gets a listing that's not me in that house, I'm pissed. Like all day, I'm like, man, I try to door knock them at this time and this time. I've left like 3 postcards. I guarantee you our postcards spark them to call the next guy. But then that's how I justify it. All right, now let's go get the buyer. We got to go get it. We got to get it. We have a pool. Let's go get the buyer now. So at least we can say, all right, we got half of that deal. And I take it personal.
Like, this is my house.
That's it. But you got to take your business personal. This is the truth of it. You need to be enthusiastic. Everything is personal about this. Like, if you're just like, hey, it's cool. I'm not saying to be competitive. I'm not mad at anybody. I'm friends with so many realtors. Honestly, like the relationships I've built with agents that aren't in my office really help fuel my business because I just make a call and say, hey, look, do I got a chance in this one or no? Tell me, shoot me straight. You know I won't be mad. You got a chance. I can't tell you where to be, but I can give you a hint, baby. I'll give you a shot. So like,
For me, the best time to door knock, it was honestly when it was the coldest and the hottest. Because the homeowners kind of feel bad, they're like, "Do you want some water?" And that's it. And I'm like, yes, I'm sweating.
can they hear what Danny's saying? Can they hear what Danny's saying?
Yeah.
Okay. It's the truth. Danny got a listing and a sale in a snowstorm door knock. Danny's crazy though. Danny's crazy. Danny is the walking realtor. This guy puts like 20,000 steps minimum a day. But the times, there's no sweet spot. Because sometimes I think the time is when everybody gets home, but they do not want to see you when they get home. They need to clean, they got kids, they hate you when you get home. And then weekends, a lot of times they're not home either. So it's like that's prime times you would think, and not always the prime time. We'll still do them. But sometimes we're just like, look, this is what fits our schedule today. Let's make the best of it. And sometimes the middle of the day is the best time because whoever does answer that day, they've got some time. Like if you're home like 2 o'clock on a Wednesday, you probably got a little time to talk to me for a second. And sometimes I'll go from a door knock to a quick conversation to come and take a look at my house. Why don't you tell us work? And me, luckily enough, I'm good enough to do it right on the spot. I don't advise most agents to do that because you could shoot your shot and miss and you're out. But for me, if they put me on the spot, I'll do it. If they're in a spot where I can't get out of it because I don't want to do it, I want to get a second meeting just because I want a second meeting. Because I want another touch, I want to get prepped, and I want to try to close them. Because if they ask me to come, I'm not a bad guy if I'm going there to close them. I'm doing everything they're telling me they want me to do. So day of, I can't close them because I don't bring docs, I don't bring everything ready because I don't want to look like I'm trying to get their listing that day. I'm trying to disarm them and build trust at every opportunity they give me. Hey, door knock. Hey, I'm not here to sell anything. Hey, I just want to let you know, I didn't bring all my listing paperwork and everything like that. Because I'm not trying to coach you today and just get your house on the market on Friday. That's lazy, sloppy, greedy. What I really want to do is I want to understand what you're doing with your life, where you are, what your timelines are, why you're selling, what do I think about the house, how can we get it to this top dollar? And I'm having these are all like, oh, yeah, this guy's not even trying to sell. He's really trying to help me. This guy's trying to bring value to my life. And it sounds tacky salesy, but the truth is I really invest and preach to do this way because then we're always going to have business. We're always going to be good because we're not just salesmen. You try to just be a salesman, you're a used car salesman right away. We already have the used car salesman rap to us. You really want to be an advisor and an expert. You really want people to value your opinion. Unfortunately, when you start getting to that space, sometimes they want you to tell them about taxes, about their marriage or marriage counselor, psychology. I mean, how many agents have we become like 10 different roles to that one client at that moment? And I've been able to build up some of those skill sets by necessity, but you're trying to build rapport so that even if they're not ready to sell today, when they are ready, they're gonna call you. And I think that's all we're trying to do with the door knocking. And sometimes you could go door knock tomorrow and get a listing. It's a fact. It's a fact. You can go get a listing tomorrow door knocking. You could spend a couple hours tonight picking your market and doing a little bit of homework. Like, look, I'm just, you know what? Tomorrow's my first day. I want to do 2 blocks. 1 second. And I still feel like I'm not done with your first question, which was a good one. You're going to hit me with another one. Good. And I still have some other things that are very important to door knocking I want to get to. So I don't know what my time is like, but make sure you give me like that, boxes when they're ring, they get to hear that.
How long do you want? You're coming up on an hour.
Okay, cool. Cool, good.
So another 6 hours?
No. Damn it, I lost my train of thought. All right, what was your question?
Sorry, another one. You give just the homework. What exactly it looks like?
The what?
The homework before door knocking.
That's what I was talking about, actually. So you go do your homework, right? Now, some of you probably have a market that you want. So you're going to pick out, I would suggest try to just do a quick hour to kind of get the jitters out because I don't think it's a natural thing people are so comfortable with. But I think if you do it the way that we do it, where we're not trying to alarm people, we're trying to disarm them, build some trust, and you say, hey, look, you want me to go? I'm gone. All right, bye. Do it all the time. I'm out of here. But we're just looking for those couple of people that actually care about what we're trying to do, and maybe they want information, and maybe we can help them. If you really truly work like you're trying to help people, you're going to make a lot more money than if you're trying to make money off people. The money comes. Being good at what you do, money just starts coming because you're good. People recognize good. It's very easy to recognize good and bad in any industry. That guy's horrible. This guy's good. This guy, if I need something, I'm gonna go with him. But the homework homework looks like this. Where town do you live in? If you don't mind me asking. Fort Lee? Okay, I don't want you to work this smart because I'm trying to build my market up.
I'm gonna take everything you give
Maybe,
me right
maybe,
now.
maybe you're my
and go
neighbor.
through this right now.
Maybe you're my neighbor.
Of Palisade.
Oh, okay, I live part of Palisade too. So I'm watching. I'm scripting you, I'm asking questions, I'm getting information, and I'm gonna be ready when you come. But-
Even today, I'm gonna apply and go knock.
Yeah, good. Honestly, Fort Lee is a town that needs someone to go out and door knock. The only catch is, I can see Fort Lee being a little competitive, because it seems like there's a couple, I don't know much about the Fort Lee market. I mainly make all my money in Hudson County, but now that I live in Fort Lee, I'm gonna start making a conscious effort through the route that I was mentioning earlier. I'm gonna be that soccer dad, we're doing softball, we're doing all that. So I'm just gonna be doing what I was gonna do anyways, because that's how I am. Danny could ask you, I got my kids in like 8 sports and things like, but I was gonna do that anyway. So I think that's a natural progression I'm gonna make. But I could see you saying, look, Fort Lee, I already noticed, has a couple different neighborhoods. You've got past George Washington, you've got the Bluff, you've got the Abbott area, or you could go by schools. There's I'm for school. Okay, so we're both for school. I'm watching you. There's school 4, school 1, school 2, school 3. So you can say, you know what, I want to work the school 4 in that, which is a great market, school 4. There's some nice houses in that neighborhood. So what you do is I would pull up the last 6 months of sales right away. Or, and then pull the map up. And I want to know what's selling where. I want to know where the highest prices are, because you can know nothing about a market and do, and me personally, I can do in 30, 45 minutes, I can tell you any market in America. You give me an MLS, I'll tell you right now. The only thing I'm not going to be 100% specific on is like block to block, but I'm smart enough to go back another couple of years history and see the patterns of pricing. Because if you map it, the numbers will tell you where the higher price stuff's at. If there's 50 listings on the map, if listings 40 through 50 are here, and listings 1 through 10 are here, these are the two. This is the highest market in that, the most expensive neighborhood in that town. This is the cheapest. There's a lot of ways. I'm just giving you some examples of how I do it, but it takes time and expertise. But I would do like 6 months of back sales, under contracts, davos, actives, and then I would pick my route based on that. Or if I already have a route, I would start trying to see how these different things sold. Sometimes I go as deep as saying, okay, this town is like a transitional town, which Fort Lee I don't think is a transitional town, but Hudson County is. So I'm like, these people bought 5 years ago, they've got a lot of equity and they're probably ready to sell. And so I'm gonna target these people because they're ready.
I just want to make sure that, I don't know if you brought it up, but every town is different with the rules. You
Yes,
know, like you have to get the solicitor's license and everything.
she asked that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Nina, right? Fatima? Yeah, we went over that. So I would be trying to do the neighborhood that I'm looking to do, and I would try to put together something of just maybe a couple printouts of recent sales. And I would say, hey, look, I'm not trying to sell anything. I live in the neighborhood. I'm looking to also build a business in the neighborhood. I'm just here to give you a little bit of information of like how things are going in the neighborhood as far as price, what recent sales are. I'm not saying you're looking to sell, but maybe you're looking just to get an understanding of your market. And people are, because everybody's on Zillow all the time, checking their Zillow's estimates, which are absolute bullshit. But I think that's the best way, because now there's a very good chance for you to have a couple pleasant conversations, and you got to just build on that. And you being in the community, now you go to Cafassos, hey, what's going on? Go pick up your kid, they start recognizing you, and then you start being like that person that you wanted just someone to think about you when they're thinking about real estate. And when they can physically see you, because some people just sit and cold call all day, and I did that as well, and I was successful at it, and I hated it, and some people love it. Me, I like people, I like to talk with people, so I'll get in front of people all the time, and they'll get to know me, hear my voice, see me, and then now we have a chance to build on that the next time, 6 months, a year from now, I run into them again. Fort Lee, people aren't always looking to sell. A lot of people are raising their kids and they're going to stay there. So it's more about just saying, hey, look, I'm the person for this neighborhood. Why? Not because you sold the most, not because you do all this. I'm constantly staying on track of this neighborhood. I'm working it, I'm door knocking, I'm giving out info. I know what's selling, how much, why, and I'm also passing that information on to you. So I'm the local expert, whether I sold the house or not. I'm a local expert. I'm spending the time, the energy. I've walked through this house and seen that your house is beautiful and that you've done all this landscaping, or that house sold across the street for this, and now your house is this. So now they're like, well, I gotta go with what she's saying that house is worth because she's the one who's keeping track. So now, once you become the person they're dependent on for price and value, I mean, you're already their agent. They just haven't sold yet. You're their agent already. If they're calling you for information, you're their agent already. We've already got them. Shoot.
So what keeps you going since you've been doing this for 18 years? What gives you the drive? And what is your secret sauce?
Secret sauce.
He's only 22, so that's step one.
My sauce, my swag, right? My swag, man, it's me. But so the cool thing, someone asked me yesterday what I love about real estate, and the super coolest part about it, there's so many ways to make money. And just buying, selling houses and open house and listings, it's just one piece, and you can make a great living off of that. But you can really start spinning off and do a lot of different things because it's such a big industry with so many angles. And you may not be the best residential agent, but you might be somebody that's really good at data. You might be someone that's really good at prospecting. You might be someone that's really good at commercial. Or you start doing what I've done, which has kept me interested and kept me excited, that just keep branching off to other pieces of the business. So I did residential real estate for a very long time, probably about 13, 14 years, open houses every day, door knocking all the time. And then I started branching off as I started doing flips, started buying for rental properties. Now I build new construction. I'm currently doing about 3 or 4 projects right now, some in Edgewater, some in Hudson County. And I started a team. So now I've got a team concept, and the team really gives me a lot of energy because like when you're in it with somebody else, you get that extra energy that you may not have on that day. Nah, come on, we gotta go door knock today. Let's go get it. That deal fell apart. Let's go get the next one. I just closed yesterday a deal for $800,000 that I door knocked. I don't door knock as much anymore, just to be clear. Only because I factored in what my time is worth, and I've got to apply it in different places. And a lot of times it's my family. A lot of time my family, which is my priority, is where a lot of my time goes. So I had to leverage myself in order to do it that way. But I door knocked on a random day, December, with the team, and it had been a while. I thought, come on, when you come out, you door knock, you got more energy, let's do it. I was like, man, it's cold outside. I'm getting old. We're like, all right, let's do it. We go door knock for like an hour and a half. Everybody thought it was kind of a waste of time. We didn't really get any leads. I made one little connection with a lady, and we talked a little bit, and I wrote her down. I was like, you know what, there's someone I got to follow up with. I got her name, I got her story, and I already knew the house. So that was super cool. I was like, oh, I lost a bit more in this house like 5 years ago. She's like, really? I said, oh, I loved your house. It had so much potential. She's like, I renovated everything. I got all the potential out. I was like, oh, that's awesome. And we talked for like 3 minutes. I kept going, door knock. I was like, all right, it was a day we didn't get much done. We didn't get a lot of leads, but it was cool. We worked. 6 months later, this lady called me, come list my house. I was like, holy shit. I was like, I started door knocking again. Man, I gotta get back to this. I'm really good at it, but sometimes when you're really good at it, doesn't mean that you're going to be able to do more, because it means that now you've got to really think about where all your value is going, make sure you're putting in the right places that can get you more money. And door knocking is great, but not the highest ROI on time. Money it is, time is not.
What are your thoughts of the door knocking expired listings?
I started door knocking expires in FISBOs. I did. I love it. Because an expired listing, they put their hand up and said, I want to sell. It didn't sell. Sometimes it didn't sell for something that was bullshit anyways. And then you're going to come in and probably just sell the listing just because something happened with the last one, you got lucky. The other half is you got to figure out why it didn't sell. You got to close them. But expireds require you being somewhat comfortable with the language you're going to need, because other people are competing. Most people are just calling them, they're not door knocking them. So that's why I did them, because I skipped the line. 100 people called that morning. From EXP to Keller Williams, 100 people called you the morning expired. Nobody came and door knocked the house. So I'm skipping the line. I'm the only one they know, and I'm good. If you're not good, at least you're the only one they know. When you're good, it's like now you're cooking with gas. You're like, whoa, he's good and he's here. Like, why am I not going with this guy? I love that idea, and we still do it, not as much as we should, but we should be door knocking more expired.
Listing presentation, your CMAs, you bring everything to you.
It's a good question. I feel like for expired, we need to be ready. Expired shouldn't be information. You should be showing up and try to close. Because everyone else that they're talking to is, and they've already said, I want to sell. So you don't have to get to there. You just have to come and say, hey, look, I'm the one who showed up. This is how I sell. This is why I think your house didn't sell. Homework. We got to do homework to know that. This is why I think your house didn't sell. And this is how I think I can make it sell. But it's not that casual a conversation. It's a scripted conversation that I've internalized where I'm asking lots of questions and I'm not talking a lot. Like today, I'm talking a lot. When I'm with clients, I don't talk a lot until it's my turn. I ask a question and I shut the hell up, wait for an answer all the way through, and I'm getting all this information in my mental Rolodex. Okay. All right, so this is my next question. Bang. Why do you think it didn't sell? You can get an expired listing script from pretty much anybody. It's one of the most popular scripts in the business. And the simpler they are, the better they work. I do not like scripts that have like 15 things and not question. I want something that's very simple where I can spin off and put my personality on it, because this business has room for everyone in this room times a million, and everybody really has to find their niche, their strength, and go with it. Now, door knocking also, I think you have to practice a safety feature. I like the door knocking teams. Me personally, I'm a big guy. Maybe I got a little bravado. I'll door knock by myself in the middle of the night. I don't care. But I don't recommend that to any agents on my team. I don't recommend that to any other agent. Go with at least 2 people. You guys will give each other some energy. You work one side, I work one side. We could talk about it in any time. I won't feel as alone. Or door knock each house together. Each house together. Look, if we get anything, we might not. Maybe we're here just to try to get reps. If we get anything, we split the pie. Deal? I don't have any listings now, so half of something is better than 100% of nothing. And then you can kind of back each other up. So it's not like, all right, I'm going to, because someone might ask you to come into their house and it's actually a good thing, but in many ways might be like a nervous, a little bit of a scary situation for you. So in those instances, you call somebody else and say, hey, all right, we'll both come together. Let's go. Let's go into this house. Because if I can get into the house all the time, I'd rather. But I want people to feel comfortable and safe. And I think you've got to factor that in. Even, I'm not just saying women, I'm saying everybody in general. Just know your environment. If you don't feel comfortable going in the house, oh, look, I don't have time to do it. I got to door knock the rest of this block. I'll be back in 2 days. What time? Wednesday at 3 or Thursday at 5, right? That's a script. And then you come back and you come back with your team, and or you say, hey, look, I just got to this address, such and such. I'm here with the seller. Call you later. Bye. Might not even be talking to anybody. I've had my agents do that. That's why I know that they do it. Because they said, well, I just pretended like I was on the phone with someone telling them where I was at, what address, and with the seller. And I'm lucky so that they know there's someone that knows where I'm at. You do whatever you feel comfortable with. I suggest as a rookie agent or as someone who hasn't done it before, maybe if you go with a second person, that's great. If you're comfortable going by yourself, it's the middle of the day, you feel good about that, do that as well. But always keep that factor in mind just in case.
All right, another question.
They're good.
What is your follow-up?
Follow-up good. And first person asking, follow-up's the whole business. Lead generation, no, sorry. Lead generation is like 49% of the business. Follow-up is 49% of the business. Everything else you're doing is 2% of the business. And that's the return you're gonna get on it, seriously. So the follow-up has to be legit because they're not ready to sell door knockers right away, usually. They usually need time, so you gotta build up a business. You're gonna get lucky sometimes. We door knock people and they said, I'm not ready to sell, I want a CMA though. But I have a friend that's ready to sell right now. And we got 2 deals, just like that. And if you double end it, it turns into 4 deals. And a lot of times the follow-up needs to be more relevant information. Like you door knock them with this one, right? This is our go-to. Each year we make one that has all our highlights, all our records, and this is our go-to. But you can only hit them with that once, and then you look kind of like, all right, what else do you have? So when you're in a market that you're doing well in, it's easier because like, all right, I just sold this. Look, I just listed this. Why don't you come by the open house? So I think that the follow-up a lot of time needs to be 1 or 2 things. Try to get some information from them. Because if we can follow up via three different methods, we're already doing what, the best level of follow-up there is, which is, you're going to be doing the email, text, call, mailers, like there's so many, another door knock, 5 follow-up techniques right there. Most people don't do any. It's the truth. Some people will send them a text, some people might do a call, some people probably don't do anything.
I didn't just sound like a thank you now, but they open the door.
I love that. And if it's handwritten,
I
even
do that,
better,
yeah.
even better. I think it resonates, and I like to do the thank yous and that type of handwritten. I like to do that when I made a connection. Because now it's like I'm multiplying the connection. Because now it's like, hey, it's me, and I'm just saying thank you for your time. I still haven't asked for your business. Oh, this is awesome. So here's our follow-ups. When we make a connection.
That's good.
And our team name's awesome, so you know who you're working with. I mean, come on. But this is where we write the handwritten. And there's Danny, good looking guy. And that's where he writes his little note. Handwritten, even with chicken scratch, it counts, right? My handwriting is awful, but I write everything. I don't care. I don't think they care. Their doctors write their prescriptions. They can't even read them. They don't get mad at their doctor. I just want them to just see another touch. And then I want to get them via email. Then I want to do a drip campaign. I want to do a 33 touch. I want to do an 8x8. This is all language that if you don't know what it means yet, nothing wrong with it. Go find out. It's available. These are all Keller Williams terms. I've been a Keller Williams agent since 2004. So I've done a lot of Keller Williams training. So I'm kind of like a pro Keller Williams guy. They do the business the way I like it, team-based, prospecting-based, and I like that. That worked for me. And a lot of the language, 33 touch. Your command does everything, by the way. You just plug the people in and walk away. Seriously. No one does it though.
No one does.
9 out of 10 aren't, but 9 out of 10 aren't that good of agents. When you do the whole 100 million that are in this country, probably 200,000 good ones. It's honestly not true. So if you just do the work consistently all the time, you're already beating most of the people. But a lot of people are doing 10, 15-hour weeks, and like, I don't know how you can make money now. Yeah. We're doing a lot of busy work. The door knocking is like powerful work. You really get good. You get good at hand-to-hand combat, talking with clients, answering questions, handling objectives, getting good at your scripts on when you're door knocking with a purpose. Now you've got people. You haven't done anything. You haven't sold a house. You just got your license last week. You could be in front of 10 sellers tomorrow for free. Got to do it. It's the pinnacle. I want to have a lot of cheap leads, and then I want to sprinkle them in with some more expensive ones and make a good mix. And that's really how you can have a good business. And we're growing. We're trying to find new ways to do things, but we still go back to the door knocking consistently. And the better you are at it, the more value you get. I think that's all I got. Do you have questions?